And there we go. Off we go. Welcome, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here in the middle of a Friday afternoon. I appreciate you guys being here live. You know, when you start one of these classes up and you don't know really who's going to show up and you don't know if everyone's just going to wait for the replay. And I have been sitting here by myself to record my classes by myself sometimes. So I greatly appreciate you guys being here live. It makes it so much more fun. I love that you're here and your energy matters. And so thank you. So inspired to write. I think that what you guys are going to experience today is a combination of a few different things. And I have been writing since I was 15 years old, avid journaler since then. And somewhere around 2008, I started writing a little bit more for the world to read when I started blogging for my business. I opened up my own physical therapy practice and I wanted to start to educate people. So I started writing like that and learning about that at that year. Fast forward, 2014 rolls around and actually I'll back up. 2012 rolls around and I self-published a memoir. That was big and scary, like getting words out into the world like that for the very first time. I had been journaling all this time in the background though. And 2014 comes along and I put out a few, maybe 4 poetry books. And you guys, if you've been watching, saw last year's book, Brave Healing, come out. And I can't stop. I love writing. I'm constantly inspired to do it. And I realized that the flow doesn't happen for people all the time like that. And I wanted to share with you some of the ways I get inspired in hopes that it will light your fire too. And this process of intuitive writing that I want to share with you today is connecting into the body before and as you write. And when you're connected in to that place, it's a very creative, intuitive, source flow kind of space. The writing nowadays, I just feel like I don't even really need to have some magical inspiration. I just need to have the wherewithal to sit down either with my notebook, which is what I have today for this, or at my keyboard and go for it. Take a few breaths, imagine what it is I really want to write about, and then go. It's not that easy for everybody though, but it can be. And I'm here today to tell you that it can be really amazing, magical feeling. It can feel like that. And I want to help you get there. I want to help you get with some ideas of how to do that. So over time, what I call kind of this brave healing method of writing it's developed into a combination of guided body awareness and meditation kind of. I don't like to use the M word too often because it scares people. Like I'm not talking about sitting on a pillow for an hour with your legs crossed here, right? I'm just talking about mindful presence and feeling what you feel. And that sounds really simple, but sometimes it's complicated. It's a combination of that body awareness and the therapeutic kind of writing. I write to feng shui my soul. Some of you have seen me write that in posts and things. What does that mean? I write journal to clear a space inside of all the crap sometimes that gets stuck in there that's getting in the way of the other kinds of writing I want to do, which is out loud for people to read. Maybe it's a social post, maybe it's a book chapter, maybe it's website copy, maybe I'm just writing up a sales page for something that I'm offering. You know, think of all these different ways that you guys write stuff. And I love connecting into the place before I write anything. First of all, because it just feels better. I feel way more inspired when I'm connected to that thing versus sitting down and doing writing that I have to do. That just has a whole different feel to it. And if you haven't guessed by now, it's the feel that matters. Like if you want to write a blog for your business or you want to write something out loud for somebody, please, I'm begging you, feel something. Feel something. Do not be bored or tired or disinterested when you sit down to write this thing. because you infuse it with that energy, and guess what the reader picks up on? They're going to pick up on the energy that you're writing with. So be excited, be in love, be in gratitude, be in hope, be in inspiration, right? And this is all going to depend, whatever feeling you choose is going to depend on who you're writing for. In my case, ideal clients are other healer, healthcare practitioner, entrepreneurs who are wanting to get their messages more out loud into the world in a bigger way. When I sit down and write for those, usually women, I am in a feeling of pretty intense enthusiasm and inspiration, right? And so a lot of the stuff you see me write has that feel to it. I'm in that a lot of the time. I love what I do. I love writing for those people. So it's really, really great to sit and ask yourself sometimes, you know, what am I feeling as I sit down to write this thing? Am I a little too tired right now to get into that feeling of inspiration? That's fair, you know, so you can pick another time to do it. But right off the bat today, we're going to practice a tool that can help move you into whatever place you really want to be in as you write. And this is extremely helpful if you actually have some writing deadlines, if you have some projects you want to work on and you kind of do have to sit down and get it done, right? Wouldn't it be great to have a way to get it done with the feels I'm talking about, you know, anytime you wanted to? That's essentially what is happening these days for me. So as I've said all of that and kind of introduced you to those kinds of topics, anyone have anything on their mind? Any questions right off the bat about anything I've said so far? Give a little pause for Susan and Catherine.
No questions, but I'm really interested with what you're going to introduce. I'm excited about it.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, and anytime I'm going on a roll, I'll just repeat, you guys can go ahead and type in a question. I'll just make sure and back up on the scroll and make sure you guys didn't have anything. Okay, I'll answer all those questions. And also wanted to mention at the end, when we're, awesome, Catherine, I hear you. At the end, when we're done with kind of this stuff, I'm also very, very happy to answer any kind of submitting, publishing, or publicity questions you guys have about your writing. I have so much information to offer that sometimes I can kind of like plow people over with it, right? So don't be afraid if you have a question about any kind of thing you've seen me doing, any kind of that publishing or submitting or, yeah, publicity stuff. I'd be happy to answer. So, okay, today I think what I'm going to first do is get you guys into this tool, this idea that you can connect with this place, this amazing, magical, intuitive, creative, flowy source place, right? And if any of you practice meditation, then you already know what I'm talking about, except for sometimes different kinds of meditation techniques aren't anchoring you into the body so much as they're just quieting the mind and possibly anchoring you with an idea, or for instance, like stare at a candle flame type of meditation. I actually don't want the other kinds of distractions in this tool. I want you to feel. And so the best way to do this is to do it. Okay, so I'm going to invite you guys to close your eyes with me today and really just relax for a minute. And begin by connecting with your breath. Just feel your breathing. And you can breathe a little bit deeper into your belly. And relax your body weight, assuming you're all sitting today in a chair. You might be sitting or lying down, whatever you're doing. Relax with the exhales and really just clear your mind of everything you were doing this morning, everything you have to do later on. Give yourself the gift of being in this present moment, feeling your body, Just right now. Give yourself this amazing, beautiful gift of being in the present moment. So you're feeling whatever you're feeling. You're connecting with your breath. I want you to relax your head, neck, and shoulders with the next exhale. See if you can pick up on places in your body that are tense, clenchy, tight, bracing a slight bit. And with every exhale, I want you to imagine unclenching those places, relaxing and releasing and softening around everything. Make some space by unclenching yourself. Where does your body want to go as it relaxes in that chair? Can you release your body and let it wiggle, unwind, shift into that relaxation for just a moment? Taking big belly breaths. Every exhale, you're going to relax a little bit more. So relax your chest and upper back, your throat, your neck, your arms. Notice the weight of your arms wherever they're resting right now. And as you take those connected breaths, release on the exhale and relax all the way down through your torso, low back, belly, your butt, your hips. Drop the weight of your body into the chair. Just have fun with a couple of moments. Just noticing what you feel. Being really curious. Try not to judge what you feel. Just notice like you're watching a movie and you're just noticing all the things. Relaxing all the way down through your legs to your toes. Notice how your feet feel on the floor. And maybe even how the clothes feel on your body. Just notice. What are you feeling? Just connect in. And now, as you take the next few breaths, I want you just to breathe in some gratitude for yourself. You showed up to something today. That's pretty badass. Showing up is, 90% of the battle of life, I think, sometimes. So breathe in a smile, breathe in some gratitude, even thanking yourself for being here, thanking yourself for doing something like this. Just even taking the moment to practice 2 or 3 minutes of body awareness meditation brings you into a connected place where you can have the awareness and the clarity for almost anything. You're listening to your intuition when you're connecting like this. That's cool. Intuition's language is body language, it's sensation. And that's talking to us all day long. It's inspiring us all day long, but are we listening? Right? So take a few more breaths, breathe in that gratitude, exhale, release, maybe take 1 or 2 more deep belly breaths. And then open your eyes. Oh, and we have a couple more joined us since my eyes were closed. We have hey, welcome, Kamini and where'd you go, Miriam? Hi, Miriam. Welcome, you guys. So grab your pen and your notebook. So you guys just came in the tail end of a guided body awareness meditation that we were doing. And I want you guys to, we're going to do a timed exercise. We're going to write for 5 minutes together. What I love so much, I lose track of time, is 5 minutes. I want you to write as fast as you can without censoring yourself. Go. What I love or love to do so much, I lose track of time, is, okay, 5 minutes, off we go. Don't worry about spelling or punctuation or even finishing sentences. Write as fast as you can for 5 minutes. Connect in with your body. Move the words that are moving through you to the pen, to the paper. Don't censor. A few more seconds to wrap up your thought. All right, pens up. So just wanted to say one more time, welcome Miriam and Kamini. You guys missed the intro. You're probably going to want to listen to the replay for the beginning part, okay? With all the explanation of what the heck we were doing when you guys came on the call. And it's that embodied connection that's important for the kind of writing that I love to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to invite one of you to read what you just wrote. Any takers before I explain? You can either unmute and say me, or you can just raise your hand if I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, is that Catherine?
Yes.
Okay, want to go?
I'll go.
Okay, I'm going to just preface it with, when we share like this with such raw, in the moment connected writing, you're not going to give us any backstory. You're going to read from the first word that you wrote to the last, and the rest of us are going to hold this amazing space for your share. But what we can do, anyone who's willing, and it's really, really cool if we can all do it, if you type in the comments as Catherine is reading what she wrote, words, phrases, or ideas that gave you goosebumps, vibrated in you, lit you up for a moment, you can type the word or the phrase or the idea in the comments as she's reading. Okay, so I'm going to invite anybody to do that for Catherine as she reads. And yeah, go, Catherine. Thank you.
Okay. What I love to do so much, I lose track of time. I love journaling because it brings thoughts to my mind and helps me put them into a form I have not spoken. That exercise of meditation we just did and focusing on gratitude made me love my body, which has just reached the last day of a 5-day water fast. This is something I've wanted to do for months and months, to push my body into autophagy and further healing from fibromyalgia. I have worked so many long years and spent so much time educating myself about alternative healing methods. I'm so thankful for the decrease in neck pain yesterday afternoon when I got in my car after work and I turned my neck to back out, and voila, there was no pain in rotating my neck to look backwards. Hey, this is worth the investment.
Thank you. Nice. And there's a couple of us that were writing some notes in the chat there as you went. A form, I have not spoken. That was one of the ones I typed in. So sometimes when you're in the fields and you're writing, you're going to be writing things that really, really resonate with other people. Of course, this is the idea if we're writing for other people to read, right? So so Karen and Miriam, since I can see you, do each of you have businesses that you want to write for? You want to write for a client? You want to blog or write copy that attracts clients? Yes. Yes? Yeah. Okay. Susan and Catherine and Kamini, as in the word comedy. Kamini. Do each of you have a business you're writing for? Just unmute and say yes, or you can type it in the comments too, yes or no.
I'm just starting a business. So yes, I will be doing a website. I want to do a blog. I've done a blog in the past.
Super.
Course, but also, writing a book. So yeah.
Super awesome. What a great thing to start the idea of connecting like this as you're starting to create all of that. Fantastic. And you're wanting to write a book. Got you. Okay. Awesome, you guys. So what do you want your reader to feel? Think about it just for a second. And it doesn't matter what you're writing. I could be writing my bio. I could be writing a novel. I could be writing anything in between, at whatever length of things in between. But when I sit down and I know that my mission is for somebody else to read it, even a social media post, think about that for a second. I ask myself that question. What do I want them to feel? You can go even further with this, and you can think about, what do I want the ideal client, the prospective ideal client to feel? Well, I'd really love for them to feel inspired to click on my offer. You know, I'd really love for them to feel so moved by what I wrote that they want to know more about me, which is a lot of the time in my world, it's the word excitement. I want them to be excited to get to know me. And whatever it was I was writing, you know, whatever story I was telling in the moment, I want them to be excited about it enough to click, maybe, okay, on that bio, on that website copy. In the book, oh my gosh, you guys, books. You know how you can pick up a book and read, and nice, I love that, Karen, willingness. You want them to be feeling willing to explore, which feels like you want them to be a little adventurous. You know, I like, that's an interesting word too. You know how you can pick up an old book written 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter really how far back you go in the past as far as the book. And you're reading the book and you're crying. You're reading the book and you're laughing out loud to yourself and there's like no one else in the room. Or you're reading a passage and you're just like totally freaking disgusted. Whatever it is, right? Like this energy that you're writing with is infused into your writing, and there's an energy that moves through the reader, and I don't care when they read it, 10 years later, 20 years later, or if it's, you know, tomorrow. So what I love about intuitive writing is just one way to kind of call this kind of writing, but the important part is the embodiment, I believe. What I love about it is you get to choose with awareness. You get the choice. And so it really behooves us to choose wisely, especially if we're writing for prospective clients, prospective awesome clients, right? So you can write some of these questions down for yourself. What do I want them to feel today? What do, another really awesome homework assignment is to write out your mission statement like that. What's the mission statement for your business? And write it in a feels kind of way. Another super awesome homework assignment is write a love letter to your ideal client or reader. Everything that you would tell this amazing soul who is starting to fall in love with you for whatever reason, you're the author, you're a business, you know, whatever business you have, okay, write that love letter to your client and write it like you guys are sitting in front of the fireplace in your fuzzy pants, sipping on some tea, and you're just having the best conversation ever. And that letter can become part of your mission statement. It can become part of the copy that you put on your website. It can become part of the back cover of a book. All right. So these are all just little things that I think about when I think about writing intuitively and connected. All right. So we did the body awareness exercise earlier. I know a couple of you came in toward the end of that or in the middle of it. I'm pretty good about keeping my eyes closed the whole time, so I'm not sure how much of it you guys caught, but and we only spent a few minutes. So, and that's cool. That's all you need sometimes. But I'm even going to take that further and say to you, sometimes all you need is 3 deep breaths and you can go. So I'm going to give you guys an example of that right now. And we're going to do a little shorter version of this, okay? And so I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes again with me. Really relax. And now this time, notice how quickly you can come into this still space of connection. Right away, clear your mind of everything I just said and come right into the feeling of your body. Connect with your breath with a few deep belly breaths. Relax everything from your head down to your toes. Give the weight of your body to the chair. Oh, it feels good to just be here in my body in this present moment with all these amazing women in this little Zoom chat. And how cool is it, right? So come into your body and just relax, release, just be here now. Nothing to do, nobody to be. Just listening to my voice and really enjoying the moment of feeling your body. What do you feel? Open your eyes, grab your pen, grab the notebook, and you're going to write for 3 minutes. I feel. That's it. Not complicated. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry about spelling. 3 minutes, off you go. I feel. What do you feel? Okay, got a few seconds to wrap up your last thought there. All right, pens up. So that was a 3-minute prompt. The last one we wrote for 5 minutes. A lot of the times there'll be two ways that people go with this. Many times you feel like you actually could have sat there and written for an hour. And other times people say, oh, they got a little stuck. So, and either direction is just what it is. It's like not a judgment thing. But Karen and Miriam, hold up one finger if you could have written forever on either of those prompts, and hold up 2 fingers if you got stuck. Okay, got a 1 and a 1. Okay, so you connected, you were flowing, and if I had given you 20 minutes, that would have been fine. Like you could have kept going, right? For the rest of you who I can't see, you can type in the comments for me or just unmute. You know, were you a 1 or a 2? Were you like, you could have written for a really long time past those 3 or 5 minutes, or you are getting a little stuck?
Initially, I got a little stuck, but I was fine with the 3 minutes, but I don't think I could have kept going.
Okay. So a lot of the time when we're feeling inspired and flowing, it's because we've connected to that other place, which is that more embodied place. It's a feeling place. My theory is that when we get stuck, it's most of the time immediately because we're thinking too much. We're making whatever the thing is mean something. And the messages that start rolling through our brain are getting confusing. We get stuck a little bit, and then we're just not moving the words out of us anymore. You're thinking too much if you're stuck. I don't believe in writer's block. I just think that you get stuck in your mind about it and you think you're blocked. But really, if you connect with this other thing, your flow will come right back, because there is always that kind of message that will be coming through about whatever this is. Who would like to share their I feel prompt today? Okay, Miriam, awesome. And you heard the instructions for the last one, right? No backstory. Can you unmute? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just write from the from the first word to the last. And everybody who can and who's willing, you can type in the words or phrases or ideas that are really resonating with you as she reads, okay? Thanks, Miriam.
I feel in my body. The weight of the body is weighing down on the chair, and it feels nice. I feel relieved that I don't have to do anything or be anywhere. Stillness sets into my soul, the stillness in which stars are born. My body remembers that it usually has to do something and wants to twitch, but the sweet heaviness, I think it's heaviness lying over my brain like a haze forbids any movement. I'm here listening to the quietness inside me.
Thank you. The stillness in which stars are born. I loved that line. I love, so, you know, a lot of the times this kind of free or automatic or intuitive writing is poetry. So many times it sounds like poetry to me when I hear people read it. And one of the best editing tools, by the way, that you guys will ever practice is reading your writing out loud to yourself. And, you know, thank you, Miriam, for being brave, and Catherine earlier, because reading it out loud to other people takes that up a notch. And we all know that you just wrote it, that it's raw writing, it's not been edited, it's just, right, you know, so we can all kind of relax with that. We got to get rid of the judgment of it. But even edited pieces you're about to put out into the world, read it out loud to yourself. It will be the best editing tool you have ever used, because as you read it out loud and you're actually putting the vibration of your voice to the words, it becomes real in that process, and it either sounds good or it doesn't, and you'll figure out exactly where and why and how as you're reading it. Sweet heaviness, I know, Catherine, I loved that too. So yeah, and it's why in the classes that I teach, we do sharing a lot. And you gals are awesome, because normally I have to sit here kind of like this for a minute before someone says they'll read, you know? So you guys were awesome to volunteer right away. It takes some, you know, it takes some courage to do that. So here are some other questions, sentences, writing prompts that will help you with the idea of connecting first and feeling inspired about it. It's like, I want you guys to feel inspired to feel. Because as soon as you're inspired with a feeling, no matter what it is you choose, the writing is easy because you're excited. So what do I stand for? You could write that one down. Think about these. You can use these later when you're looking for ways to write and talk about who you are and what you do to the world. What is it that I really stand for in this world, in this life, with what I'm doing for other people? What do I stand for? What matters more than anything to you right now? What matters more than anything to you right now might change next week, and it might change the week after that. So great, cool. You could have a blog series about what matters to me more than anything right now. You could do a blog a week on that topic, and it would change every week possibly, right? I could give you 100 topics like that, where your blog series would be something somebody might follow, because every week you're getting into a wonderfully intense feeling about a very personal thing that was going through your mind. The more personal, the more universal with your writing. People think it's TMI. It's actually the opposite problem. We need more personal information to recognize that we're not alone in the world. And we want to know exactly your story, exactly the personal pieces, because there are pieces too, and we want to nod our head to the writing as we're reading it. And so the more personal, the more universal also. As soon as you get into a personal story, you are a magical storyteller, and your people will be listening. They'll be listening more and better than you've ever seen them listen. Gratitude. Let's talk about that for just a second. We all know about gratitude journaling. We all probably love it here and practice it. And if you don't, I highly recommend it. But I'm going to roll into a third prompt today, and we're going to, with our eyes open this time, connect just like we did before the last two times. So we're here, we're staring at each other, we're looking at the screen, we've got our room around us wherever we are, but we're going to connect with the breath just right now. So go ahead and connect with me with a deep belly breath. Realize that even with our eyes open, we can connect, clear the mind, and drop into the body in 5 seconds. So you're here right now. What do you feel? You see what you see, but what do you feel? My fingers are a little cold. We're having such hot weather in Maryland, but the basement is freezing. It's like the frozen tundra down here where I write and do my business. So my fingers are a little cold. I noticed that right away. I'm sitting on a stool with no back right now. And so I noticed that my back muscles are engaged. What do you guys notice? All the little things, okay? Take one more breath. We're going to do 1 minute. What are you not just kind of grateful for, but incredibly grateful for? 1 minute. And I want to feel it. Bring me into sight, sound, touch, smell. I want to feel it. Use your senses. What are you incredibly grateful for? 1 minute. Go. Don't get stuck on the words of the prompt. Just move what's coming through you. Okay, pen's up. That was a quick one, I know. And you can finish your thought there if you were still going. This is mine today. I'm incredibly grateful for Chris, his companionship, his smile, his ability to be with my craziness and hold a space for me to be my full self. That was mine. Anybody else want to read theirs? I'll take it. Yeah, great. Thank you, Karen.
I am incredibly grateful to have this space and be with these incredible seekers and truth tellers. I am grateful to have choices that allow me to move in many directions.
Thank you. So with gratitude, you know, that whole thing about, you know, writing 5 things you're grateful for every day, or just getting into the focus of it, you honestly could take a list like that and take any one thing, bring it into the body connection that you're practicing. I don't know why, but I had found a feather the other day. And I love feathers, and I have a tattoo on my arm that's a feather, and like feathers are a thing for me, right? They're like a sign for me. And so I could sit and just take a few breaths and connect with the feel of it. So you guys know how a feather feels when you touch it, right? And do you know what I'm talking about when you touch what's it called? The stem, the bone, whatever that is. What's the real word for that? I can't think of it. And you know how they're hollow, right? And you know how they have that sensation to it. Like, and you know, like if you brush it on your skin, you can kind of feel, and the little feather pieces flap and they move, right? So as I'm describing this to you, you get it, right? Like I'm bringing you into the feel that I feel when I'm holding this thing. You could take anything on your list of 5 things you're grateful for, and you could do that for me. You could be writing in a way that brings me into that. Everybody here who wants to write a book, the more you bring somebody into the scene with their senses, the more you will have them turning pages and not going to bed. Because if you're getting them to feel it, then they're in, man. They want to feel, right? We want to be woken up out of our zombie lives, and we want to feel alive. We want to feel fiercely alive. So if you're a writer who can actually get into her senses herself and feel it, then your writing is going to be infused with it. And it is fantastic. So again, little note for book authors, bring me into the scenes. How I outline my chapters for a new book is I might do my chapter outline, but if I'm at chapter 1 and I'm getting a more detailed outline going, I'm outlining that chapter 1 by all the scenes I want you to be in my chapter. What are the scenes of that chapter 1 that I think are most important to tell the story? And bring the person in with the feels and bring them in through dialogue. Like let them be a fly on the wall and hear it, and don't hold back. Don't hold the authentic words that would be going between those 2 people back. But, you know, please give me all of it, like the real stuff, because I am a real person and I know real and I feel real, and believe me, I feel fake when I read it. And believe me, I feel bored when I read it. And I feel disinterested when I read it. So you don't want to feel any of those things if you're meaning to inspire somebody, if you're meaning to move them to clicking on that thing to find out more about you, right? Why do they want to find out more about you? Well, you're awesome. So let them know that you're awesome through those authentic feelings. Any questions so far? Do you guys like these prompts?
Very much.
Good. So what do you guys, so we've got, it's, you know, we've been going almost an hour already, believe it or not. What are your questions about either the intuitive writing process, the way that we're connecting, or even just questions about writing itself, the submitting your writing, publishing it, getting publicity or exposure for it. Does anyone have anything today? Take advantage of asking your questions. Yeah,
I
Karen.
want to make this statement. I have been this time, and just a time to kind of fall into my body. I have been resisting so much about writing. I've got all my shoulds and oughts, and my life feels so taken over by the things I feel like I need to do, that I haven't been spending the time to just sit and fall into it. It's almost like I'm afraid. If I do that, I'm just going to get overwhelmed, and it's just going to pour out, and I'm not going to be able to stop it. So
That could be. I'll tell you a little story about that might help you a little. You know, I self-published the first memoir in 2012, and I started writing again a little bit after that. And I knew that I had a book, another one in me. And so I thought, okay, I'll just start to see what this is. And I started to write it. And somebody dropped in my inbox the program. Do you guys know about NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month in November? And they've got this free program. And, you know, the idea is to get a 30,000 word novel written in 30 days. Like, whoa, right? So I saw this, someone forwarded it to me, and I thought, perfect. This is a perfect motivation I need. So at the end of the 30 days, I signed up, and at the end of the 30 days, I had a 65,000 word, what should I call it? I guess memoir detailing the wounds of my childhood. A month later, I attached that book to an email and sent it to my family on Christmas Eve. And my family all still talks to me, by the way. But what I really realized about that pouring out of words, because 65,000, I mean, I thought 30,000 was a really cool number, and I could totally do that, you know, 1,000 words a day, 30 days. Anyway, what I realized is, and you heard me say it earlier, that was the writing I needed to do to feng shui my soul. I needed to pour out the shit. Because what that did is it cleared the space for the real book to start to move through. I had to get the stories out of me, most of which you won't read in the book that published last year. But it cleared enough space for me to know and to have the knowing and the clarity and the intuition about what stories I did want to include and what that book would be for people. So I guess all to say, don't be afraid of that. Open up the can of worms. Just go for it. Dive in head first. Cannonball, girl, I'm telling you, cannonball into it. Because in the process of it, you will learn so much about yourself. The clarity will come, and you're not going to get stuck there. There's going to be a place where it stops, but there's also going to be all this other magical stuff that happens as a result, I promise you. Okay? And this is actually one of the reasons people don't want to start on an in-depth healing journey either, because they're afraid they're going to open up Pandora's box, they're going to get stuck in there, sort of reliving old pain and trauma, and then never be able to get out again, and then they'll be lost, right? But you know what? That's all BS, you guys. It doesn't necessarily happen like that. Sometimes it's nice to have a guide or a cheerleader helping you out along the way, you know, but also it's sometimes nice to just hear this from somebody else so that you realize, you know what, I'm making that up in my head about what might happen.
And furthermore about that, it's kind of, for me, it's been this, it's like this huge hurdle that there's a resistance about trying to jump over it high enough. Like, yeah. I can't get that high. So the prompts are really nice because they just kind of gently ease you into it and say, oh, okay, now I've got those words. It's like the words almost get blocked because
yes.
I'm so overwhelmed.
So thank you so much for reminding me. So everybody who's on the call, and for those of you who are watching the replay, if you love prompts and you enjoyed the ones today, please send me just a quick little email if you would like my little ebook of my favorite 25 prompts. I wrote this up for people who love the prompts. So I'm just telling you out loud right now on the Zoom here. Just give me a little email, bewarriorlove@gmail.com, and say, hey, can I have that little prompt book you were talking about today? And I will email it to you, okay? There's so many awesome ones. I could have overwhelmed you guys with prompt after prompt that I have used to open up those little windows for myself, you know, and really connect. God, there's some good ones, you guys. There are prompts that you could write an entire book about. I'm serious. They're awesome. And sometimes just a question or just an invitation into a place that you've never really explored inside of yourself will honestly have you sitting there for hours. You talk about feeling inspired to write. Sometimes it really is a prompt. But I'm going to say something else about that. Your content, your inspiration for content or any kind of writing is all around you every day, in every moment you are experiencing. Again, writer's block is bullshit. You could look up from your screen right now and look at the wall in front of you, whatever color it is. And you know, Karen and my wall happens to be yellow. I think that's kind of funny. Kamini has yellow behind her picture there too. Like, I could write a blog about the color yellow if I really wanted to, right? So your stuff is in front of you all the time at any moment. Like, if a bird lands on your windowsill and it's kind of peeking at you and you can see it's looking at you, you could write about that because it gets you feeling something. Pick the things that make you feel, and your readers will be like, they'll be right there with you wanting to have that feeling. So we got the prompt book for you. Okay, you guys. And I'm going to give you my little 30-second spiel about the class coming up August 16th. Intuitive Writing and Speaking for Healers, Healer Entrepreneurs, is a 6-week course. Anybody who attended today, you're going to get 50% off the course because you attended today. You guys don't even know what kind of a gift I'm giving you. The course is read the testimonials. That's all I'm going to say. I've had women come to me and say that everything changed after that course for them. So that's my little 30-second spiel. I promised it would only be 30 seconds. I've got links for that. They're on my Facebook page. Email me if you want to read the page about that course. It's August 16th. It's 6 Fridays. There's one skipped Friday, I think, in September. There's a dedicated Facebook group for paid members of that course that you can be in forever. The group is worth the price of the class alone. I say that with full confidence at this point. And I am hanging here now if you guys have other questions. So if you need to go, I gotcha. But I'm here if you have more questions. So let me know. Anyone else? You guys want to unmute and just chat about whatever you have on your mind? You're welcome, Susan. Miriam or Kamini?
It was great. It was extremely helpful. Got me excited. Got me feeling. And you know, I'm a little bit stuck with my writing. Also, what the other woman said. I think she left. I think she logged off.
Karen had to drop off. Yeah. So for any of you who are feeling that a little bit, and here's what I would do for you if I was working with you is I would get you into a focus. Now you guys can get yourself into this focus, okay? But coaching is really cool, but you can do a lot of this inquiry for yourself. What you need to really come to is a clarity about what the mission is behind the actual writing. I don't care if it's, again, I'll just repeat it. If it's a bio, I kind of say to myself, okay, this bio for this blog, it's going to be at the end of this blog. That bio, there's a mission there. What do I want them to feel or do when they read that 3-sentence thing at the end of my blog? Any writing should have the why behind it. When it does, and if that why is infused with lots of good feeling and energy, you guys are going to see that your writing becomes something that people engage with way more. You're asking them questions. You've got a mission for the writing. You're not just writing stuff to write stuff. So, Susan, for yourself, like if you feel a little bit stuck, it might be because the why, the purpose, the mission, those big things aren't fired up enough inside of you yet, or not quite clear enough yet. Journal about that. What is my why for this? Why do I want to write this? How do I want to feel? And then how do I want my reader to feel when I'm, when they're reading it? What's the mission? What do I want them to get out of it by the end? And Susan, if you want to play with me for a minute, who are you writing for?
This is for early stage alcoholism.
Okay.
So I'm really writing for the general public, in my opinion, because
yes, okay.
It's an effort to obviously take away a stigma and label. It's an effort to free up people to feel good about taking action against a progressive disease at its earliest stages. I mean, it's a big
okay.
Yeah.
I got you, and I'm gonna mess with you for a minute, and everybody hear this. If you're writing for everyone, you're writing for nobody. So here's what I want you to do with that I'm writing for the general public idea. What an awesome mission, by the way. I totally get it. And I want you to think of a face of a person that you've had in the past. You've either spoken to them, written for them, you had a conversation, maybe you did a coaching session or a therapy thing with them. Does somebody, this is for everybody, does someone come to your mind right now? What's their name? Write it down on the piece of paper right now. And what you want to be doing, and this doesn't mean that you're going to turn away any of the other people who show up at your door in the general public. It just means that your writing is going to be so on point for your ideal targeted customer that they are going to be clicking hard on your things, and you're not going to lose those other people. It's just that when your writing is too bland and you want it to be for everybody, it doesn't capture anybody.
I think you nailed it, actually, because one of the writers who wrote for me was Caroline Knapp in her bestseller Drinking a Love Story, and she clearly, she's writing to me. It was personal. It was, so I get what you're saying, and I think I have struggled with this a little bit because I feel it's such a needed big thing. But I think if I just imagine what Caroline Knapp did for me, how she was focused. I mean, that's all how she wrote, really.
Yes.
And if I can, and I wrote down a name, actually, what you just said. And if I can do that, I think I want to try that.
For anybody that wrote down a name that actually had somebody come into their mind when I said that, here's the next best homework. Call them or email them and invite them to lunch if you're in person, or Zoom if you're not, and be completely transparent about what you're doing. Just say, hey, I'm going to give you guys an example. My gal is Stacy, and she is local to me. So I emailed Stacy, who had been purchasing some of my things. She was really like my ideal client. There was so much going on, and I kind of knew that she was my ideal client. So I emailed her and I said, hey, Stacy, I'm really trying to build my business and understand who I'm writing for right now. Would you go to lunch with me so I can pick your brain about, I've got a bunch of questions I want to ask you about you. And I took the Ideal Client Avatar worksheet from B School, which is Marie Forleo's program. I'd be happy to send that to you guys. Just email me if you want it. And I took those pieces of paper to lunch with her, and I did the homework with her, and my writing changed completely after I met with her because I knew exactly who I was writing to at that point. I knew that she was divorced. I knew she had a young daughter. I knew that she, you know, I knew everything up to the flavor of green smoothie she liked to drink. And that's the idea. And so don't be afraid to niche as far as your writing goes. You will be pleasantly surprised that you'll attract so many people that way that you'll be having too many. We're also afraid we don't want to say no to anyone, so we want our thing to be for everyone. But then the problem is it just dilutes and doesn't speak to anyone. So yeah, best homework ever. If you had a name come to you, then go take them out to lunch or do a Zoom with them and interview them and get to know your ideal client. Honestly, their pain points, their struggles, their biggest joys, all of this stuff is on that worksheet. So if you want it, just let me know. What else, you guys?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Anything else about that, or anything else as far as the writing? Catherine, I have you unmuted now too if you want to ask a question. I just can't see you. All right, you guys. So come and take a peek, bravehealer.com, the workshops tab. For anybody that's watching the replay, that offer stands for you as well. And I'm going to be taking about 5 people on that awesome discount, which is the 50%. But other than that, you guys, you're welcome, Susan. If you know where I am if you have questions too. I've got a lot going on. I've got a lot of great writing programs and things. You can go explore the website. But if you have a writing question or you want to come and hang in the a free Facebook group that I have, please come, and I give writing prompts in there and kind of ideas and questions to that group just to keep them cooking. And thank you so much for being here. Remember, the next thing that you sit down to write, get into the feel. What do I want them to feel? What do I feel right now as I'm writing? And really, you're going to be making your writing come alive big time. So I hope you guys loved it, and let me know how you liked it or loved it. Email me. I love the love. So thank you for the feedback. And I will see you guys soon.
It was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.